Hi guys, my name's Natalia and welcome back to my channel where I talk about books. So today I'm going to do a reading vlog of books that I think will be 5 stars. Now, are they actually going to be 5 stars? I have no idea, they might not be. But the books that I want to read that just seem to me like they have potential to be 5-star reads are none other than Study in Drowning and Belladonna. So this one is a fantasy novel. It has like dark academia vibes in it, and I feel like even just the cover itself, it's so like aesthetic and beautiful, and if the book has similar vibes as the cover, I feel like it could be a 5-star read. There's also like a romance involved in this book, so I think it could potentially be a 5-star read. And the second book, it's also a fantasy novel. This one has like gothic vibes in it. It talks about like death, and our main protagonist is trying to solve this mystery because the ghost of like her family member comes to her claiming that she had been poisoned. So she's trying to solve the mystery. I don't know, it sounds really interesting. Again, the cover for this one is also really beautiful and stunning. So that's what I'll be doing. I will also be like sharing some bits and pieces of my life while reading these books. Nothing super crazy, but it is like cherry blossom season soon, so I will probably be just going out to check out the cherry blossoms in Korea and show you what they look like. And yeah, I will just be sharing my thoughts on both of these books. So I'll see you in the next update. Okay, I was a bit shy to talk while vlogging, so let me do a voiceover instead. So I went to this small town in Korea called Bucheon, and this place that you're seeing now, it's called Bucheon Art Valley, which I guess in English it's Bucheon Art Valley. And you know, it's just a very pretty place, and apparently many dramas were shot there as well. It was honestly stunning, so I just spent a peaceful day there. Also did some reading on the way there. Yeah, that's it. Okay guys, so let me tell you a bit what this book is about. So we follow a girl named Effie, and she is an architecture student. Well, actually she wanted to be a literature student, but like in the world where she lives, they do not accept girls for the literature degree, so she just chose like the second best option, which is architecture. But like, you know, she's not like so into architecture. She's actually like really close to failing some classes. She just feels like it's not really for her. And there's this author that recently passed away, and it is her favorite author, and there is some sort of competition for the architecture students to design the late author's manor. And Effie, despite being only first year student, she sends in her application, and she is chosen. She wins the competition, and she has to go to like a faraway place to design the manor. So my thoughts so far, I mean, I do like the vibes. Like, it definitely gives off the dark academia vibes. I feel the world is like very magical. I'm enjoying it so far. I have to admit, I do like Effie already. I think I like her because she seems so much like me in some ways. She seems so sheepish and like socially awkward like there were a few scenes which were just like she was talking to someone and she would like suddenly be uncomfortable maybe by something they did or said, and she would have this feeling to run away. Or when she went to design the manor for the author, she was waiting at the train station for someone to pick her up, but it seemed like no one was coming. It was already like dark outside. No one was there anymore because it was the last train. And she started panicking, like thinking of the worst case scenarios that could happen in this situation. And I was like, that is so relatable. That is so like how I would react in such a situation. So I feel like her character is quite relatable, at least to me, so someone who's like anxious and like socially awkward, something like that. So I'm currently at the point where she just met the love interest. Well, I think it might be like an enemies to lovers because they do not start off well. So basically there was this scene where she wanted to borrow some books from the library about this favorite author of hers, but all of the books were taken out by someone else, and there was like this name. Also, this boy comes from another country that Effie's country is kind of like not on good terms with. So she was kind of angry that he borrowed all of the books on the author. So then she goes to design the late author's manor, and there he is. She meets him. She recognized the name from like his notebook. So she's obviously angry about the books, you know, and they just do not start off very well. So far I am enjoying it, but yeah, we'll see how it goes later, and I will keep you updated. Okay, so I've been reading a little bit more of Studying Drowning. So Preston and Effie, they are starting to get closer. Like they're not super close yet, but there were already a few scenes when I was like blushing, and it's getting like more and more interesting. Like I said, I still love the atmosphere. Few things I want to note. First one, oh my god, Effie's mother sucks. So in this book, like Effie hasn't talked to her in person, but she called her a few times, and each time I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. She's such a terrible mother, and I feel so sorry for Effie. I feel like she's been through so much. And also, like, a trigger warning, this book does contain a mention of SA, but yeah, overall I'm really enjoying it. So far I do feel like it could be a 5-star material, but we still have a long way to go. I'm like not even halfway there yet, so I'll come back to you with an update very soon. Hi guys, so I'm gonna go check out the cherry blossoms. It's Thursday now, but I'm going to go see them again during the weekend with someone else, but today I'm just gonna go alone. It's like morning before I go to school, so I thought I would just go and take a walk and see how much they've bloomed. Apparently quite a lot, so I will show you what it looks like. Let's go. Hi guys, so I'm back with an update. I finished reading Studying Drowning, and I was really thinking for a long time what rating should I give it as. For most of the book I was thinking 5 stars, then there was like this moment when I thought maybe it's 4.5 stars, but taking everything into consideration, I enjoyed the story and the way it was crafted so much that I decided to give it 5 stars. I don't think I'm like super picky when it comes to rating books, so that's why I'm giving it 5 stars. So you may ask, what did you like about it so much that you ended up giving it 5 stars? Let's start with the like entire atmosphere. It was so like eerie and unsettling, and the mystery really added the suspense. I loved the setting. So first we followed Effie while she was at school, and then she went to renovate the manor, which was in a really bad state. And I feel like the manor being like in a very decrepit state, it just added to the atmosphere and like the darkness in the book. It is a rather slow-paced book, at least that's how I felt while I was reading it, but I didn't really feel bored. On the contrary, I was really savoring all the careful descriptions and just the world that was created in this book. It felt so magical, so I was really into the story. I also really liked the main character, so that also always makes the book more interesting, because like if you don't like the characters, then it's kind of hard to get through the book because you keep being annoyed. I would sum this up like it was a perfect blend between dark academia, mystery, and fantasy. So if you are looking to read something like that, I would highly recommend this one. Effie, like I said, she started off being quite like shy and quiet and full of anxiety, but she really grew as a person throughout the book, and at the end we can see her getting stronger and stronger, which I really loved that. Well, I can't relate to that, to be honest, but it's really nice to see that she really started to become stronger and like not afraid to voice her opinions. I thought that was really nice to see. And her relationship with Preston, so they started off kind of as rivals. I think it's a rivals to lovers type of trope, and they started to fall for each other, and I really loved seeing their relationship develop. And you know, what started off as bickering and not really liking or trusting each other to like really caring for each other and admiring and respecting each other. I thought that was like such a nice development. I feel like it's the type of book that I will just not be able to forget for a long time. So if you feel like it's the type of book that you might enjoy, I highly recommend you give it a chance. Okay guys, so I started reading Belladonna, and so far I'm really enjoying it. So our protagonist Signa, turns out that she actually cannot die, which I was shocked. I didn't know that before, but basically she suffered some like fatal injuries before when she was young, but she never died. So whenever she like is supposed to die, I guess you could say, is in this like place between life and death, and that's when she can see death himself. Also, Signa, she really hates death because literally like everyone that's ever been close to her ended up dying. So she was orphaned as a child, and she's also like going to inherit a huge fortune once she's like 20 years old or something like that. A lot of the people that took care of her, they just did so only for the money, not because they really cared for her. But nonetheless, you know, they would just end up dying, and at this point people just think of her as scary and strange because everyone around her just keeps dying. She just doesn't understand why everyone around her is dying, but she herself cannot die. When the book begins, there's like this Aunt Magda, which is very funny because that's literally my sister's name. I mean, in Polish you pronounce it like Magda, but anyway, that's all I could think about while I was reading it. But anyway, she's really a terrible person to Signa, and well, just like everyone around Signa, she ends up dying. And then Signa is invited to go live with her like literally last remaining relatives. So that's what happened in the book so far. I mean, the premise is very interesting, so I'm really excited to keep reading it. Yeah, I'll just keep reading and I'll keep you guys updated. A little update on Belladonna. I haven't finished it yet, but I am getting closer to the end. So after Signa arrives at her relatives' place, she finds out that the mother has died recently, and now her daughter Blythe is also sick. Later, the ghost of that mother actually comes to Signa, and she claims that she'd been poisoned. She doesn't know who had done it to her, but she just knows that, you know, it was not an illness. Someone planned her death, and now the same is happening to her daughter, and she asks Signa to solve this mystery and save her daughter. So that's what Signa sets out to do. Yeah, I honestly have no idea who might have done this. It's like, I feel like I'm just suspecting everyone at this point. So yeah, I will just have to wait and see. But I wanted to touch a little bit on her relationship with Death. So like I said, she can see Death, and he is like, he's not really a person, but he has like the shape of a person, but he's like a heap of shadows. So, you know, you can just imagine like shadows that look like a person, like they have like a shape of a person, I guess, or at least that's how I imagine him from the description. But anyway, so she's been like getting really close to him, to the point I feel a bit uncomfortable, and like the things he says to her are so cringy. Like he just keeps repeating, I've been waiting for you my whole life, I've waited for you for so long. What? Because he did technically meet her when she was a toddler, like for the first time. Are you telling me that you've been waiting for her since she was a child? Because that's just creepy. I mean, okay, maybe he meant, you know, that he was waiting for anyone to be able to see him, you know, because she's like the only person that can see him. He's never met anyone else who could like see him and, you know, talk with him and all of that. But I mean, anyway, I feel like at the beginning of the book they despise each other. Like she hates him with passion, and now suddenly, like, I don't even know what happened, but suddenly she feels like attracted to him. Like it just happened in like an instant, and I'm very confused by that. Like obviously I know enemies to lovers trope exists, and I really love that trope, but it has to be done well. You know, the transition from enemies to lovers needs to be gradual. It cannot just happen in an instant. And when I first found out that Death is actually a character in this book, I was like really excited, and I thought like he's going to be like this really scary character, you know, that is going to help her even though he doesn't really want to, something like that. I did not expect him to end up being like an actual love interest, especially considering he's just like made of shadows. I mean, this story itself, like the mystery aspect and like the general plot, I think it's very well done and very interesting and intriguing. That's probably why I keep reading this book. But every time like a romance scene comes on, I just want to quit. That's all I have to say for now. I'm still waiting for the mystery to be resolved, so yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. Guys, I finished reading Belladonna and I just want to like sum up all of my thoughts and give my final review and my final rating. So I decided to give this book 4 stars. From the things that I really liked, I think it was a really well crafted combination between fantasy and mystery and like gothic elements, and I really thought the story was very interesting. I mean, a girl that literally cannot die and she can even see death himself. I think that is a very interesting premise for a book. I will give the author that. And when it comes to the mystery, I honestly couldn't predict who was the culprit until the very end. So I liked the mystery aspect. I thought it was well done and there were many twists that I couldn't predict. However, like I already said in my previous update, I was not a fan of the romance subplot. And it's not like I have something against like romance between, you know, a human being and a supernatural being, but maybe it's just I don't like the character of Death that much. Like at first I thought it's going to be like this very scary and, you know, creepy, powerful character, which at first I thought so, but like the more we got to know him, he just like, I don't know, he became so soft. And especially like for Signa, I almost felt like being like in love with her and obsessed with her was his only characteristic. I don't know, not a huge fan of the character of Death. I thought it was going to be like a lot more scary and like mysterious. So I would say that's the main reason I took away 1 star. Probably my favorite character of this entire book was Blythe. I don't know, she just seemed really fun and I just really grew fond of her. I will read the second book in this series. I mean, I liked the book overall, but I guess maybe it was not as good as I had hoped because I really thought it could be 5 stars. I gave it 4 stars, but honestly I think it's like on the verge between 3.5 stars and the 4 stars, but still I don't think it was a bad book. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I think that's it for my thoughts, and that's it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.